Why are your fingernails the most dangerous thing on Earth? Seriously, look at them. Because according to the Vikings, those little pieces of keratin are the only thing standing between us and the absolute destruction of the universe. You might think I'm joking, but I'm not. We usually think of the end of the world, Ragnarok, as this big battle with wolves swallowing the sun and gods fighting giants. And yeah, that happens. But the trigger? The thing that actually allows the enemy army to get to the battlefield, it's a ship. But it's not a normal ship. It's not made of oak or pine. It doesn't have iron rivets. The ship is called Naglfar, and the name literally translates to nailfarer or nail ship. That's because the entire hull, every plank, every mast, every oar, is constructed from the fingernails and toenails of dead men. Just picture that for a second. Imagine a massive Viking longship, big enough to carry an army of giants. But instead of smooth wood, the sides are jagged, grey and brittle. Millions of clippings, layered over thousands of years, mashed together. The smell would be absolutely horrific. The sound of it crashing through the waves wouldn't be a thud. It would be a clicking, scratching, bone-on-bone sound. It is the grossest concept in all of mythology. But here is where the story gets actually terrifying. This isn't just a static object sitting in a museum in the underworld. It is a clock. The Norse believed that Naglfar is currently under construction. Right now. Every time someone dies with their nails untrimmed, the gods weep. Because those uncut nails are harvested by the giants and added to the hull. If the ship isn't finished, the giants can't sail to Asgard. They're stuck. They are waiting for us to give them the raw materials. So every unkempt corpse is literally a brick in the wall of the apocalypse. This actually changed how real Vikings lived their lives. We tend to think of Vikings as these wild, dirty barbarians, right? But archaeology tells us they were actually obsessed with grooming. They had combs, ear spoons, tweezers, and now you know why. Trimming the nails of the dead wasn't just about looking good for the afterlife. It was a religious duty. It was a tactical military delay. If you let your dead uncle go into the grave with long claws, you weren't just being lazy, you were actively helping the enemy. You were speeding up the end of the world. There's this incredible tension in the mythology. The gods know the ship is being built. They can see it growing, inch by inch, century by century. And they know that the day the last nail snaps into place, the ship launches. So what happens when it's finished? Well, the prophecy of the Voluspa, the seeress's prophecy, describes it perfectly. First, the world plunges into chaos. Brothers fight brothers. The Fimbulwinter freezes the earth. It's a time of wolves and wind. Then the ocean swells. The Midgard serpent, that giant snake wrapping around the world, starts thrashing in the deep water. This creates a massive tidal wave, and that wave is what finally lifts Naglfar off its moorings. The ship floats free, the cables snap, and the captain takes the helm. Depending on which version of the myth you read, the captain is either the giant Hrym or it's Loki. Imagine that. Loki finally breaking free from his chains, stepping onto a deck made of human refuse, leading the frost giants to burn down the home of the gods. The ship sails from the east. It cuts through the freezing waves, carrying the forces of chaos to a field called Vigrid. That is where the final battle happens. That is where Odin is eaten by the wolf. That is where Thor dies fighting the serpent. And they all get there because of fingernails. It's such a weirdly specific detail, isn't it? Why nails? I think it's because nails are the part of us that keeps growing, or looks like it keeps growing, after we die. They represent the wild, uncontrolled part of humanity. It's a metaphor for neglect. The Vikings believed that chaos isn't something that just explodes out of nowhere. It accumulates. It builds up slowly, quietly, in the corners of our lives that we ignore. If we stop taking care of the small things, like trimming our nails or honoring our dead, those small things pile up until they become a monster that we can't fight. Naglfar is the ultimate symbol of consequences. It's a ship made of our own apathy. We are literally building the vehicle of our own destruction, one clipping at a time. It makes you look at a pair of nail clippers differently, doesn't it? In the Viking Age, grooming wasn't vanity, it was warfare. It was a heroic act to keep things tidy. By cutting your nails, you were buying Thor and Odin a few more minutes. You were holding back the tide of giants. So next time you're getting ready for bed and you notice your nails are getting a little long, think about the ship waiting in the dark. Are you just grooming yourself, or are you delaying the apocalypse?